Wasting money on cures. Forgot how to fix myself. They say that time is free. Then why is it so precious? Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. Time is running out. Time is running out. Lately I've lost my track. I've sailed the deepest seas, hoping to find something to bring back better times. Oh, I'll save memories in my head, like Polaroids on walls. They remind you to look ahead. But time is running out. 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 Time is running. Time is running out. But time is running out. What if my best days aren't over? They can't be over. They can't be over now. Time is running out. What if my best days aren't over? They can't be over now. Time is running out. Time is running out. Time is running out.
Can you believe it? It's Tuesday, 6 o'clock again. So we're back with another live session to support all Edexcel A-level business students. Well, any A-level business student if you wish, but this is specifically designed for Edexcel A-level business. And Graham and Mike are going to be leading us through the activities tonight. Good evening, lads.
Evening, Jim. Evening, Graham.
Evening, Mike. Evening, Jim.
So we've done 4 sessions so far in this series this term where we looked at some different parts of theme 1 and theme 2. And in this session, we've handed the task over to Graham and Mike to put together a mixture of topics based around tricky topics, topics that the examiner typically likes to examine, often because students find them quite hard. So they keep asking questions about them. So it's an eclectic mix, G. So do you want to explain what we're going to do? And then we'll dive straight in.
Yeah, so we're going to start off as usual with the big reveal. Mike's going to take you through that. We've got our usual blend of MCQs. We know MCQs aren't part of the Edexcel assessment, but it's just a good way of testing knowledge and understanding. We got some calculations, a couple of definitions, and I think an application activity at the very end, I believe.
So I'll start then. We'll look at the big reveal in time-honoured fashion. If we could have a look at the first clue. Remember, you can have as many goes here as you want. Just put your answer in the chat window. We're looking for the name of a business. And this business started trading in 1987. I feel obliged to say here, if you can think of a business that was founded in 1986, it's not this one. This one started in 1987. 1987 was when this business started. Let's have a look at another clue. First location was in Basildon, which I believe is in Essex. First location was in Basildon. Wow. That's my understanding, yeah. So first location was in Basildon. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. And it was founded in 1987. Keep those guesses coming.
It's not Tipex.
Big mistake.
Ah,
Let's move on swiftly. The business was established by Whitbread. Business established by Whitbread.
Oh.
So if you're thinking of a business that was established by Whitbread, it could be this one. Put your answer in the chat window.
they're
Is
pubs,
it
aren't they? Whitbread?
Horvis? Is it Horvis?
Come
Well,
on.
clearly not, is it? Because if it was, the answer would appear. By the way, we've got a new system in play here, which means that the first correct answer automatically appears on the screen. So do have a go in the live chat. It's the wonders of AI, isn't it,
answers
really?
coming. Yeah.
Yep.
So business was established by Whitbread, and we've
Oh.
got an answer there from Alex, which is Premier Inn, which has popped up on screen. So I'm assuming that must be right. Well done, Alex.
It automatically reveals, Mike, now. It's a new AI system on the big reveal.
Just incredible. So obviously this business started under the name Travel Inn. They have around 800 hotels, Premier Inn, and where everything I believe is Premier but the price. So they say.
Definitely.
It is.
Definitely.
Yeah, I love Premier Inn. We always stay in Premier Inn on our tour. That reminds me that we're going on tour, aren't we? Strong Foundations in Leeds, London, Birmingham, and Manchester at the end of the month.
But not Basildon.
Not Basildon. not this time. Who knows? G, let me hand over to you for some MCQs.
Okay, so we've got some statements on screen. One of those statements is true, the others are false. So which of the following statements is true? So a product with a PED of minus 0.5 is price elastic. Payables are current assets. Break even is fixed cost divided by variable cost per unit. On P is a hygiene factor. So do we think it's A, B, C, or D? So which of the following statements is true? So we've got some answers coming in, a few C's coming in. Break even is fixed cost divided by variable cost per unit. Any more for any more? There's loads joining us live, over 50 people now. What do we think? It's definitely one of those, A, B, C, or D. Couple of more answers coming through. I think this is proving a little bit challenging for our student audience tonight. So A, B, C, or D. I'll give it a few more seconds. Yeah, a couple of right answers in. I think this has highlighted a few little misconceptions. That's why we're doing it. It is called Tricky Topics. So shall we reveal the answer? So the only answer that was true on screen was D, that pay, according to Hertzberg, is a hygiene factor. So a product with a PED of minus 0.5 is price inelastic. It's not elastic. Payables are a current liability. Break even is fixed costs divided by contribution per unit, not variable cost per unit. Remember, contribution per unit is selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Now, it was highlighted on an examiner's report a couple of years ago that a lot of students didn't know the break even formula and really struggled to calculate break even. So again, make sure you are on top of and confident in all your formulas. Next MCQ, please, Jim. So last year, a business achieved a gross profit of £300,000. The cost of sales was £500,000. What was the sales revenue of the business last year? So we need to rearrange the formula here. So is it A, is it B, is it C, or is it D? It's definitely one of those. So last year, this business achieved a gross profit of £300,000. Cost of sales was £500,000. What was the sales revenue of the business last year? What do we think? Again, we're split. We're split between. We've got a range of different answers. I can certainly see the answer on screen. Lots coming through. So Ruben just loves it, doesn't he, Jim? He was here for AQA. Ruben was here for AQA, and now for Edexcel. So yeah, gross profit revenue minus cost of sales. So we rearrange the formula, and the answer is indeed C. So if we add the two together, no, you didn't need to put the formula, Alice. It was just you could have put the formula if you wanted to, but no, you didn't need to. So obviously, sales revenue minus cost of sales is gross profit. Therefore, gross profit plus cost of sales must be sales revenue. Okay, shall we have a look at the next one? Now, this is quite tricky, so you may need a calculating implement for this. It's quite tricky. So the income elasticity of demand of product A is minus 0.5. The business sells 10,000 units of product A each month. If incomes increase by 5%, what will be the monthly sales of product A? What do we think? Is it A, is it B, is it C, or is it D? I'm just double checking using my calculating implement. The answer. So what do we think? So it's a tricky question, Nat. It is a tricky question.
I'm going to have a go as well, Graham,
It's a tricky question.
because I feel your uncertainty. Well, I don't really.
I feel my uncertainty.
And you know how bad I am at these questions.
So
Well,
again, we've got a range of answers.
The answer I've come up with is on the screen, so that's
Is it?
encouraging. Yeah.
It's funny because the one I've got isn't. And, so
Hard question.
is it A, is it B, is it C, is it D? Now, I'll tell you how you can rule 2 out immediately. Because an income elasticity of demand coefficient of minus 0.5 tells us it's an inferior good, where if incomes increase, the quantity demanded will fall. Now, as there are 10,000 units, because incomes are increasing, the quantity demanded will fall. The answer has to be lower than 10,000 units. So really, we could have ruled 2 out straight away there. Now, what that's telling us is that minus 0.5 tells us for every 1% change in income, the quantity demanded will change by 0.5%.
Yeah.
So
I think it's C.
if we multiply the 5 by the 0.5, that tells us if incomes rise by 5%, the quantity demanded will fall by 2.5%. So the fall of 2.5%, and the answer is indeed C.
Yep.
9,750 units. So what we needed to do there is we needed to reduce 10,000 by 2.5%, 9,750 units. Now remember, Edexcel students, you may have to calculate income elasticity of demand coefficient or the price elasticity of demand coefficient. Alex, I agree. Elasticity is indeed an interesting topic, and it's a challenging topic, and one that is frequently examined. So so Ruben's done a little bit of formula there. Great stuff. The answer is 9,750 units.
I'm thinking we get Ruben on live next week to help present, possibly instead of me.
Yeah. Ruben can write these next week. Shall I have a look at the next one?
Oh.
So it's a 2-statement question here. So as the name suggests, there are 2 statements, and the statements are either true or false. So statement 1: if a business's sales increase more than the market growth rate, the business will increase its market share. Is that true or false? Lower average costs can increase added value. So remember, added value, part of theme 1. Lower average costs can increase added value.
Mm.
What do we think? Should we reveal the answer?
Yep.
It is indeed. Both statements are true, and everyone got that one right. So remember the added value, which I thought some students may struggle with a little bit. So remember, lower average costs does indeed increase value added, and statement 1 is also true. I think we've got one more. Have we got one more MCQ?
One more.
One more MCQ. So again, 2 statements. Cost of sales can be found on the statement of financial position. Statement 2: a UK business imports all of its products from the US. An appreciation of the pound against the dollar will make their imports more expensive. So exchange rates was examined twice last year with various degrees of success, i.e. lots of students found it challenging. So we make no apologies for going back over exchange rates. What do we think?
That's
So
a
cost
hard
of sales,
question, that, isn't it? That's hard.
cost of sales can be found on the statement of financial position, also known as balance sheet. A UK business imports all of its products from the US. The appreciation of the pound against the dollar will make their products more expensive. So are those true or are those false?
What do you think, Mike? I've read the answer to this question. I'm thinking it's C.
It's got to be one or the other, hasn't it? They've got to be true or false.
True. Yes, that's correct.
Shall we reveal the answer?
I'll go C, but that's a bit of a guess.
So cost of sales is found on the income statement, and UK business strong pound, imports cheap, exports dear. Have we got that right?
That's true then, isn't it? So statement 2 is actually true. Stronger pound, imports cheaper, exports dearer.
Strong pound, imports cheap. Strong pound, imports cheap.
It's false.
If the pound is appreciating, it's going to make them more expensive.
Yeah.
It is false.
It is false.
Yeah, they are
What
both
do I know?
false.
You're right.
They are both. Yeah, they are both false. So cost of sales is found on the income statement.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
strong pound, imports cheap, exports dear. So the appreciation of the pound would make imports cheaper, not more expensive. So both
Ruben,
false.
start the car. You're on next week. I'm off.
I think it just illustrates that those topics can be quite challenging.
Yeah.
Can be.
And it's always worth reading questions very, very carefully. Let's do a calculation, and let's look at price elasticity of demand. I think we've already commented that it's a tricky topic. So here's our question: after a business increased the price of one of its products from £5 to £6, quantity demanded fell from 10,000 units per month to 9,200 units per month. No surprises for guessing here. We are asking you to calculate the price elasticity of demand of the product. Here's the countdown clock. Put your answers in the chat window and we'll look at the right answer in a moment. So that was a minute, and although we had some answers in very quickly there, please don't be alarmed if you're still working at the answer to that. Sadly, we won't get to see Graham air drumming anymore, but you've got a few more seconds if you still want to have a go at putting your answer in the chat window. And unsurprisingly, we've got a range of answers here because calculating price elasticity of demand can be quite challenging. We do have a right answer in the chat window. So congratulations to Daisy for getting it right and being the first to get it in. And Alex is just commenting there, or he's giving us the formula, reminding us that it's a percentage change in quantity demanded that we are dealing with and a percentage change in price. A common mistake is to deal with an absolute change. We need to work out percentage changes first of all. And in my experience, that's often an area that trips students up. So let's have a look at the correct answer and how we got there. Remember, when we're working with figures, as we will be in the exams, when we're doing calculations, we need to show our workings. We need to show the process and how we got to the answer. And in that way, even if we get the answer wrong, we may be able to get some credit. We may be able to pick up some of those marks. Here's our formula: percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. Another common error, I think, when dealing with price elasticity of demand is that students get the formula around the wrong way. So it's quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. If we work out the percentage change in quantity demanded, the difference between the two figures divided by the original times by 100, it comes out as minus 8%. So the quantity demanded has fallen, remember. So it's minus 8%. Percentage change in price has gone from £6 to £5. That's a 20% change. 1 divided by 5 times 100, 20%. And then the price elasticity of demand, we plug that into our formula, -8 divided by 20 is minus 0.4. Whenever we're dealing with price elasticity of demand, the coefficient is always going to be negative because of the law of demand, and a change in price is always going to lead to an opposite change in quantity demanded. So if price in this case goes up, the quantity demanded will fall. Correct answer, minus 0.4. Really well done if you got that right. If you didn't quite get there, hopefully the explanation will lead you to get it right next time. Over to you, I think, G, for some definitions.
Can I just go back a second? Because I just want to pick on something that Mike mentioned there that was in the chat window as well. Is that there was a number of students did 20 divided by 8. They got the wrong way around, so they got the minus 2.5. So again, that shows the importance of showing you working out, because you've done all that. You got the percentage changes correct, but you just got that last bit wrong. So that's why if you just wrote minus 2.5 down, that's all you wrote down, you get nothing. By showing you working out, you probably would have got some marks there. Excellent stuff. Shall we do? We have to do it because it's next on the presentation. Shall we do the definition spinner? It's completely random, and we get really excited about this. We've got no idea what it's going to land on. We've got a range of terms here: working capital, inflation, peer-to-peer funding. Don't think that's been examined yet. Lean production, centralization, and capacity utilization, and working capital. So completely random spinner. All we want you to do is type in the chat window a definition of whichever one it lands on.
Wow.
Inflation. So can we write in a definition of inflation? I've read that balloon sales are suffering from inflation, aren't they? A minute. So can we put a definition of inflation into the chat window? And again, inflation is a topic that a lot of students get confused between inflation and another type of economic variable, or one or two other types of economic variables, and really find it difficult to apply and contextualize inflation. So what is inflation? Yeah, you can't say fairer than that. A general increase in the price. I like that, goods and services. Or Alex here, increase in pricing, a fall in the power of buying, fall in spending, the price of goods and servicing. That is a textbook definition about increasing over time, the ongoing increase in the average level of prices across the economy.
Wow.
Over a period of time. And we do know now a lot of students, would you believe, maybe under pressure in the exam, sometimes get inflation and interest rates mixed up. They start talking about interest rates as opposed to inflation. So inflation, basically the general increase in prices of goods and services over time, how quickly prices go up. It's called the rate of inflation and is measured by the Consumer Price Index. The Consumer Price Index is specifically mentioned, I believe, on the Edexcel specification. So
it's interesting. I think a number of students sometimes get confused if the rate of inflation is falling. They think that prices are falling, but it could just be, and it's more likely that they're just not rising by as much, isn't it? So that's one to look out for.
That's a good point. Good point. Well made. Shall we have a look at the next definition?
Here to serve.
Now inflation. Oh, now inflation's
You've
gone.
Changed it.
Design mix. Now I do know out of all of those, I mean, I've got no idea what's going to land on, but working capital was examined not so long ago, and the students really had a lot of misunderstanding around working capital. But who am I to say what's going to land on? Shall we spin the wheel and see what it is? Oh, would you believe it? Working capital. So can we write in a definition of what working capital is? Now, this was specifically flagged in an examiner's report 2 years ago, that a lot of students didn't fully understand what working capital was and how a business can improve its working capital. So what is working capital would be a useful start point, and it's one of those to look out for, isn't it? As you're revising, make sure you are familiar with every key term, concept, model, and theory on the specification. What do we think?
I'll stick a couple of different entries coming in. These are the early ones, the quickest responses.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot now where I'm looking at them thinking, you know what, you do it's clear you understand it, but it's not being conveyed maybe as concisely or thoroughly
Mm.
as it could be. Alex has got a really Alex
Oh,
has quite
let's
quite a
get
good definition there. Alex has got quite a good definition there. Working
let's
capital
put
is a
Alex's on.
difference
Yep.
between
Yep.
current assets and current liabilities ultimately. Ruben as well there. Money that can be used for the day-to-day businesses, day expenses. Yeah, there's some understanding there. Yeah, again, it was quite pleasing actually because there's a lot of students talking about current assets and current liabilities. Good stuff. It's a difficult concept. Shall we have a look at what we had? So yeah, the difference between current assets and the current liabilities of a business. So basically that's what it is. And a little bit further development there, it provides a really strong indication as to whether the business can pay its short-term debts. So really what you're looking for and what you need to be revising as as you build up to the exams is what is working capital and the importance of working capital to different business scenarios and how a business can improve its working capital position. Obviously, you've got ratios, current ratio and asset test ratio to bolt onto that, but you really need to understand the concept and importance of working capital to a variety of different businesses. It was really pleasing there to see lots of students using the words current assets and current liabilities within their answers. I do believe we've got one more calculation.
Seamless transition here, G. Talking about current assets and current liabilities, let's look at the current ratio and our second calculation. Read this carefully. This is potentially quite challenging. So we have a business that has current assets of £30 million and current liabilities of £22 million. Now the business receives £15 million from the sale of shares. It uses that £15 million as follows. £8 million is used to purchase machinery. £2 million is used to clear the overdraft, and £5 million is spent to increase stock levels. So the question we're asking is for you to calculate the new current ratio after the 15 million has been received and distributed. We're asking you to calculate the current ratio. As before, answers in the chat window. Try and show your workings, even if you don't show them in the chat window. Try and show your workings so that even if you don't get the answer right, you still could get some credit in an exam situation. Let's start the countdown, please, Jim.
Okay.
And there we go. So a few more seconds if you're still working. And again, unsurprisingly, I think this is proving quite challenging for some of you. I've got a few answers in the chat window. I'll give you a few seconds longer. A question there came in from Alex about how do you revise formulae to remember them? And it's a really good question. And I think probably it's a combination of simply, getting them written out on revision cards, perhaps, but then practice using them. And I'm fairly confident Jim and Graham will be able to recommend a suitable calculation booklet that you could use as practice. Any thoughts there, Jim?
Do you mean the to Edexcel A-level business calculation and practice book?
Is there one? I wasn't aware.
Here's one written by an expert. complete with full answers. But we will also be doing lots of live streams where we do cover a lot of formulas, flashcards, practice. Ultimately, practice writing the formulas out, formula tests, key term tests, things like that. It is an issue. It is an issue.
I think it's a combination. It is a case of really just practice, going over those formulae again and again. And there's probably no better substitute than using them and rearranging them, just doing different types of questions over and over again. It does require some investment, but the good news is that when you get there, you can use that. Use those formulae in lots of different ways for lots of different questions, even if the question doesn't specify using it. And that's particularly true with ratio analysis, I think. I've not seen a correct answer in the chat window. I've seen lots of people giving it a go, and that is crucial. Really important to be able to give these a go. And if you've got some correct workings, it's likely that you would get pick up some marks along the way. I think Graham mentioned before, if you just write your answer, you get it wrong, you're definitely going to get 0. Let's have a look at the correct answer. And this is challenging, so don't be alarmed if you haven't got this, but it just requires knowledge of the balance sheet and how it's constructed. So the current assets after the changes, well, they add £5 million to their inventory, to their stock. Stock is a current asset. So adding 5 million to the 30 takes it to 35 million. They take £2 million, or they pay £2 million off their overdraft. So their overdraft is reduced by 2 million. Overdraft is a current liability. So the current liabilities go from 22 million to 20 million. And then it's a case of knowing the current ratio formula, which is simply current assets divided by current liabilities, 35 divided by 20, which is 1.75 to 1. 1.75 to 1. What that means is for every £1 of current liabilities the business has, they have £1.75 in current assets. So we can link that back to the working capital question from before and suggest that this would be a healthy position for them to be in. 1.75 to 1 is the correct answer. Sorry, Jim.
I was just doing my workings. Yeah. So that 5. So obviously we started with 30 million current assets. That plus 5 is a combination of 3 things, isn't it? It's the 15 million income or extra cash. Then it's the 8 going out buying fixed assets, and then it's also minus 2, isn't it? So it's 5. It's plus.
Correct.
All the changes together are plus 5. Yeah.
That's right.
I made an error, but I'm just looking at my workings here. I missed out the minus 2. So just go back to the question there. I think Vina's quite right. Yeah. So if we take current assets of 30, I'm just going through my error. This is right. So starting with 30, I get 15 in. So that's 45. I use 8 million of cash to buy machinery. Well, machinery is not a current asset, so that's minus 8.
Correct.
And then we use 2 to clear the overdraft. So it's minus 2 on current assets and plus 2 on current liabilities. Yeah, got it.
So it works out 1.75 to 1.
Exactly, yeah. The 5 million on stock levels has no impact, does it? Because it's cash going out, but stock going up. So current assets stay the same. Yeah. Very good question, that. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. I think judging. Yes, I think looking in the chat window, I think there was just some confusion over. So it's a non-current asset.
Yeah.
The machinery.
Yeah, the machinery.
That's right.
So the machinery was there, because if you think that 15 million, if you think about it, it was all spent. It was spent on machinery, stock, and clearing an overdraft. So that 15 was irrelevant, really. It was just adding the 5 and taking the 2 off. But it was where you allocated the machinery. So really, in the machinery was a non-current asset. And again, this has been flagged in the examiner's reports as an area that students often find the different distinguishing between what's a current asset, what's a current liability, what's a non-current liability, what is a non-current asset. Yeah, it was a tough question, but a really, really useful one.
Tricky, as Alex says.
To do.
Yeah.
So applications.
We're trying to stretch our students now, aren't we? Because we're getting close to mocks. I know some people have got a mock in it, or an exam in the morning. So
definitely. Shall we finish off the application spinner? Couple of quick questions. So pricing strategies and factors that might influence pricing strategies is an area, again, that students have, traditionally found difficult. They know the pricing strategies, but what factors influence, not necessarily just the pricing strategy, but just how much, what the price a business sets generally, rather than the specific types of strategy. So let's have a look at our spinner. What's it going to land on? Oh, my favourite business, Greg's, on a roll. So, what factors might influence the pricing strategy of Greg's? Now, think beyond competitive pricing, penetration pricing, price skimming. Just think about what factors would influence the price maybe Greg's sets for its particular products or its food or its drinks, rather than a particular, umbrella term of strategy. What it would influence what price it charges for its, I don't know, its steak bakes, for example. So that's what we're after, the different types of factors that would particularly influence the prices that Greg sets for its food and its drinks. Erin straight in there with cost of ingredients. Now that is application off the bat there. Ingredients. Trevor, I was so close. Did you nearly say ingredients, Trevor, or do you mean about that current ratio
No,
question?
Trevor went for 1 to 1.79, so just
Oh.
0.04 out.
Now that is a great answer. Cost of living. There's some good application there. Cost of living crisis. You could argue that Greg's products are a luxury, really. You don't need to buy a vegan sausage roll from Greg's. So therefore, an external factor could great application there. Seasonality about a product, hot chocolate. You would associate with sales being higher in the winter. Maybe they're going to set a higher price. Again, Alistair there's got some great ones about cost of living, the recession. Ruben there, we've got bakery goods. Ruben's talking about bakery goods there. Competition keeping prices low. Brand positioning, an affordable lunch. So we've got lots of application there. Brilliant stuff. Should we have a look at what we had?
Yep. Hang on. There we go.
So the cost of making their food, such as vegan sausage rolls and steak bakes, so the ingredients. And again, what I think Ruben mentioned there about the level of competition in the business environment, such as other food on the go businesses like Subway. So again, there we've went for the ingredients or the cost of making their food. Ingredients is better, actually, such as vegan sausage rolls and steak bakes, other food on the go businesses. Now, application is all about applying the same question to different businesses. So if we pick a different business, the factors may be different. Shall we do another business? Now Premier Inn has appeared from the big reveal. It's left the big reveal and it's made its way to the end of the session. Shall we spin the it's not a wheel, is it? We'll spin the
surely this
spinner.
can't be as sophisticated and thoughtful as having Premier Inn start and end the session, can it?
No, definitely not that thoughtful.
You're right, it's not.
It's not. Aston Martin. Now Aston Martin was the big reveal last week.
Yeah.
So what might influence the prices that luxury car manufacturer Aston Martin? What influences Aston Martin? And it should be really, if you think about it, it operates in a different sector, sells a different product to Greg's. So there may be some similarities, but obviously our context would be different. So it's about moving away from textbook answers and applying your knowledge to the different businesses.
This is our last activity, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Laura is in there. Yeah, that's good. Changing consumer wants and needs, such as increasing demand for electric vehicles. Wow. That may indeed. Alistair's using some great terminology there. Aston Martin can use price skimming because they have brand loyalty. You know what? They were. I think a few years ago they were voted the most valuable brand, Aston Martin. One of the most valuable brands, Aston Martin. They have a brand loyalty, and people will buy their cars for their brand. So Erin there's got strength of brand, so they can charge higher prices. We've got about technology there. Is there any more? Maybe pick out one.
Okay,
Let's have a look.
Look out for them as they come in.
We've got changing legislation and electric vehicles by 2040. Alex there, Aston Martin are known for their premium brand in comparison to Greg's. Good comparison. Their pricing strategies could change or what their competitors do, such as Lamborghini. So we got some really good application there. Shall we reveal what we had?
You're salivating at the application there, Mike and Graham, aren't you? Such as Lamborghini.
Such as seasoning.
That is,
to be honest, I was
genius.
I was salivating at the word Greg's, to be fair. And someone's saying they like vegan sausage rolls in the chat window. I collect them, I like them. Yeah, you know they actually are. You know, there are a lot of them. A lot of us are made to order, job production.
Yeah.
So again, we can link that there. Shall we
Just going to stick Harriet's on as well, because Harriet's made some fantastic contributions in the live chat too, and I've forgotten to put her on.
Exclusivity, yeah, very exclusive of their luxury car vehicles. So some
Very
great
good.
application there. Some great application. So we went for the price elasticity of demand. So Aston Martin are a luxury car manufacturer. There's our application with a strong brand image. Therefore, their cars are likely to be price inelastic. And I think Alex mentioned this really about price skimming. Therefore, they could probably set a higher price. So if we just look at that, what we've got on the screen, how we're using knowledge and understanding price elasticity, we're using our context and we're developing it a little bit, saying it is likely to be price inelastic, meaning they can set a higher price. I'm sure you'll agree, gentlemen. Some superb answers, some tough questions, but some great answers.
Absolutely.
Great answers.
Yeah, well done, everyone. What's next, G? Are we back onto sort of quantitative skills, that kind of stuff, or what have we got next week?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a session on quant skills and numerical concepts. So so a bit of a few calculations. I think we'll do with some calculations because there was a lot of comments in the in the chat window about learning formulas. So we'll do some calculations and things like that. Yeah, thanks, Alex. Great session, and to make it even better, Newcastle are getting beat, which makes it even better. A better session.
Well done, everyone, and a huge thanks to Mike and Graham as always for putting the sessions together. Erin's asking any final tips for the mock tomorrow. We've got a chance, haven't we, to give a few final tips on mocks. Lots of people taking mocks tomorrow, it seems.
Stay calm. Read the questions carefully.
Yeah. Read the questions carefully, and remember, for any assessed question, 10 and 12 marker assessed questions, you've got to have a supported judgment at the end. You need balance. For any calculation questions, always show you're working out. If you get any 4 mark explain questions, remember 1 mark knowledge, 2 marks application, 1 mark analysis. Remember, don't overanalyze for missing out application. You need 2 points of application in your 4 mark explain questions, and just do your best.
Yeah, it's a chance to practice, isn't it? To put all these skills into play.
Absolutely.
And well done for taking some time the night before a mock or an exam or some other assessment to join us live. We appreciate that. We always appreciate that. So if you found the session useful, either live or on demand, give Graham and Mike the thumbs up on YouTube, and that we're always grateful for that. We never take that for granted. So we're back again, same time next Tuesday night, 6 p.m. for another live session. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
Bye-bye.